I'm thinking. This was supposed to take like 2 days. It's taken like 5 now. Just because of the style I decided to go with. It's caused a lot of disruption in my whole workflow. If I'm going to take time on a painting, I usually plan it out more. This is all like discovery, which I mean random, like bring you in a little closer here. I'll kind of move you around maybe when I mess around. Seems a little far though. Can you see what I'm doing or no idea? So I just keep going over everything over and over and over again. And I really didn't anticipate doing that, but one cool thing is normally I don't have enough gas in the tank to do that. But this piece has surprisingly has a lot of gas in the tank, like I'm shocked. There's obviously great benefit in taking your time with the painting, but that's not really my style. Or, again, it's normally planned out that this is gonna be an investment. Because the reason why it's not my style is because I have so many ideas all the time. I like to try to capture as many ideas as I can, as frequently as I can. And when I'm spending time on one piece, it does actually kind of not stress me out. It makes me, just throws off my workflow. So I've been writing my ideas down in a book, in my notes, so I can keep them. Don't judge my music. It's just free, copyright free. And it's like all kinds of different stuff. I'd say I'm like 70% done, maybe 75. Truthless, what's up? Thanks. This one's taken a long time. Unexpected. But I'm happy I like it. It's a lot of what I'm doing right now. The majority of the painting has consisted of like just moving around and slowly adding layers and little ideas. And that's what takes so long, because there's no plan. There's nothing like, oh, I'm gonna do this and then do this and then do this. No, like I see things and I'll make faces, but for the most part, it's all truly like unplanned and spontaneous. But then I try to refine things, and the refining process is so, I'm not going to use the word tedious, but it's what takes the most time, and where I get lost in a good way. You have to go over everything like again and again and again and again, and sometimes even fix things. Like I go over something, I kind of mess it up. And I think part of the reason is because it's like, oh no, I see it. The idea has shifted and changed or whatever. Or now it needs this in order for it to be kind of complete, for me to move on from it. So there's some things here that are complete. Rot Ghost, I see your comments, by the way. You're welcome. Thank you for what? You like the work, or you're messing with me? But I definitely see your comments, and they're appreciated. So far, like 5 or 6, no, not 6 days, 5 days. And I thought it was going to take 3 days most. 2 days was probably like, which isn't, I'm not, I am pretty shocked by that, because normally when I set out to do something like that, I do kind of stick to I kind of have an idea of how long something's going to take me. But I made all the characters essentially too small. No, normally, Truthless Recluse, normally I don't either. That's not, I enjoy like rapidly moving on to different ideas. So when this happens, it throws off my workflow even. Throws off kind of my whole kind of plan for the week. I really like to attack a bunch of different ideas throughout the week. And then when I'm stuck to one painting, but this is bigger in all fairness, I normally don't go this big. So maybe I really underestimated the size of the painting too. But again, these characters are a little too small, which is fine now, because I see the light at the end of the tunnel. But when you have these small characters, and that's what did it. It just caused. And then I'm surprised that I go, okay, I'm going to stick with it and keep going. Not shelve it, or even kind of change my concept. Like, no, I'm not going to spend 5 days on this. That happens sometimes too. I have a really good idea, and then I realize how long it's going to take me, and I say, no, thank you. Absolutely not. Oh, Rock Ghost, the worst. The music is just, I can't stream anything that has any sort of, so the music is just junk. It's just like, it's like whatever you'd hear at your public library. or something. It's a bummer. But I even asked ChatGPT where can I find music? I've already done a lot of the other stations that are like, some of them are okay. This is a new one, and sometimes there's actually a decent song, but then they flood it with like, it's like a radio station with no copyright. And so you get like this song, and then you get something that's half decent, and it's just a bummer. I really don't know how to fix it. I think you have to just pay for like I think you have to pay for use some rights or something for like, but you still don't get the good songs. You just get whatever, like you have more options. Such a bummer. It really bums me out because music's so important. So when I'm not live streaming, I'm listening to my songs for sure, which I'm proud of. I like my taste. But it's actually, music is so important that when I have music like this, it can actually be discouraging. So much so that I don't even want to go live because I need music to paint and get in a rhythm, get in the zone. But it might even be better just like when I hear this, just have nothing, just dead silence and listening to me breathing heavily. Yeah, my music's so important, but not that bad for IG. Thanks, Rockos. Yeah, I love my music, man. I really like think about it and how it affects me, and I really like a lot of new stuff. Like I really listen to a bunch of different styles and genres, and like because I'm older, I've like built up this whole catalog in my mind of like music I like, and I rely on it depending on how I'm feeling or how I want to feel. Music's so critical for painting. It's like essential. It's almost as essential as brushes. And sometimes you just need dead silence too. Or like not like, very little sounds depending on what I'm doing. But for work like this, where you're just like playing around like the entire painting, man, is music. So the majority of this painting has not been live streamed, put it that way. I really hope there's some sort of good solutions that I discover over the next little while where like, okay, you get music here that's decent and causes no problems for my channel. Jeez Louise. And then on the other side of the coin, though, I do appreciate when I do find music, even if I don't really love it, that allows me to use while I'm streaming. So I am grateful in a sense too, because I guess as much as I'm complaining, I can't really have dead silence right now for this kind of stuff. And sometimes they play an okay song. You too, Rock Ghost. Nice to see your name pop up. I need something here. And I change out my brush to be a little loose so I can go to my references to see some faces. I've been really interested in Harmonious Bosch, or whatever his name is. Over the years, I'm a big fan. These are the kind of characters I'm looking to add in here, like those kind of Garden of Earthly Delights characters. Now I changed my brush because actually I want to do something. I have an idea. So we're going to put something here. So a lot of the time is spent on cleaning things up over and over again. And you have to anchor yourself somehow, so pick your spot so you don't kind of wreck some of the painting. Hopefully you pick a dry spot so I can. And sometimes when I'm painting, I really see a lot of things. They're really apparent and they happen really easily. And then there's other times when I've been painting on this piece specifically where I'm just literally, I don't see anything, so I'm just cleaning things up over and over again, like really trying to just refine and render some of the images that I already put in. Right now, I just noticed I see a lot of things, so I gotta take advantage of that. because this area has been vacant with like nothing here for a while. So if I see something, I need to get it going. It doesn't have to be perfect. We can kind of tidy it up as we go along. But if I can see things here now, put them in. Because like I said, sometimes I don't see anything. Yeah, that happens, Rocco. Sometimes I even forget where I was just painting with things like this. Like I was painting on something or touching something up, and my focus will shift for like a minute, and I'll come back and like I don't even know what I was painting. And sometimes you just put paint on the canvas and then see what happens. See, like you roll with it. Sometimes you just need to put some paint down and then take a second, take a beat and see what you did. Art block, I would paint, there's so many things you can do. Just start a whole new painting. Use ChatGPT for images, like Harmonious Bosch paintings, like use ChatGPT to come up with a new version that's kind of like in your style. And when you see images, or I just search Google, start looking through images, like strong imagery will do it. If you just find like certain strong imagery, like not talking about crazy shit, just like really good photography or really good portraits or really good other art is amazing for that. Like scroll Instagram and see something like you're like, oh, I'm inspired now, I'm ready to paint. Then you'll do something and then like it's that, and sometimes it's just putting some paint down, because once you start, you set up and you just go, it's not even hard to stop. It's just that you'll just keep going for a while and see what you create, and maybe it just leads to something else. Like you're like, oh, this would be awesome if I did this. So you can even I don't really abandon paintings, but you could just like shift your focus to something else. But because you started, you now have a direction. Sometimes you just need a direction. Yeah, to be honest, I can't remember the last time I spent so much time on little details like this. It's been a while. It's either that or just the painting so much bigger than I'm used to, that I'm normally working on. But I do have a goal of doing some bigger stuff. It's just, if you go bigger, then do bigger images. I kind of messed up by sticking with these small little creatures. No, AI is good for a lot of things. It's good for talking out loud and trying to explain yourself and having something like essentially, what am I trying to say? So there's a lot of good uses for AI, and I find it's really basically like just like Googling something. So if you're looking for an image, you're like, I want a skull wearing a hat, right? And you Google that. Now AI just has the ability to give you what you're actually looking for. So for that, I can't not use that. It's so much more valuable than like Google's turned to shit anyway. Like their Google searches are just all a bunch of AI images anyway. It's unavoidable, and they're really crappy. But sometimes I just need to see like, hey, is this worth painting? Is this a good idea? Like, can I see something in that I'm trying to express and then build from that? I really want to learn how, I want to be able to get my ideas as tight as possible. In this case, this is not a good example of what I'm talking about, but for generating ideas, use as many tools as you can to like get a bunch of ideas in place. I think the best example that I said though is like a skull with a hat. If you Google a skull with a hat, and then you use AI and say, hey, produce me with a skull with a hat in like a surreal, simple background, or like a vampire skull or something, you're just gonna have such a better base to see like, oh, that's cool, I like that. Okay, what could I do to it? Or like, is there something there? Sometimes like for this, I would be like, I want to see like a frog with a cape or something, or a frog's mouth. I want to be able to draw a frog's mouth, and or the scales or something. Whether I Google that or use AI, it's just like, for me, that's the same thing. What's the difference? But that's my take. And now that Google just uses AI anyway, it's unavoidable. The only thing that you could go back to, which is I respect, is like, literally books on anatomy and drawing books, or like portraits and stuff. You could like look at books. I think that's really valuable too. But if you even like, I'm looking for like an old man sitting down on a chair, again, you can Google that or you can use AI for it. And what I've discovered is that you're going to get way better reference photos from AI than you are from Google these days. At least like a starting point. Or like a man with his arms up in the air facing this way, like you can tell it exactly what you need for your reference. It's unbelievable, actually, the more I think about it. Before, you just get what you get on Google search, or you'd have to take your own photo and like pose for it. And I just get inspired by technology. When I was younger, I didn't care. I wasn't like a sci-fi guy or anything like that. But now that technology's advanced so rapidly, it's really captivated me, like just as a whole, just like super impressive with how fast things are moving. And so I'm really interested in that. I did a whole series last year on like the whole idea of it. Like I spent months on being enamored with um, technology, which actually even surprised me because I'm really not that kind of, or I wasn't that kind of person growing up. I didn't like sci-fi movies and stuff. Then when I think back, I'm like, no, I kind of did. I just didn't call them sci-fi, I guess. Like I think there's a difference between like Terminator 2 and Star Trek. Because you kind of like go, oh, Terminator 2 is just like an action movie, but it's super sci-fi. It's just really good. Okay, so I got this guy out of that. That's it so far. Hang on. What do you think about AI artists? They personally make me really frustrated. I think one day, like AI will catch up beyond our wildest imagination. When AI, I follow one AI artist that makes the movies, and I think he's probably at his computer all fucking day long. And he is like reworking things, like do it like this, do it. And soon, like right now, it's pretty like, give me a cat flying in the sky. And then it just gives you that, right? But if your prompt game gets like, and as AI progresses, and all of a sudden you can be like, oh, I want the cat to go over here and then go here and then do this. Once you can like dictate at a higher level than now, I want the cat to go here, steal a sandwich, and then go to the beach. Then the AI artist might have more grounds to stand on, right? Like when it's like, hey, I told it everything I want, like literally every detail in this video is my concept. There might be something there, right? Because even I heard like Hollywood's really embracing it now, and like so meaning like, hey, they have an objective. When you have an objective, and then you can create the finished product by using like a new set of tools. There's something there. Now, what I find when you say frustrating, there's a lot of like AR artists with really big followings, and they just do like crazy images. And I don't think that's frustrating. I just think that'll be short-lived because everyone will catch up. So while they're like really they're reaping the rewards, they are learning the technology. So like, you know, they're learning stuff, they're using it. I'm not too worried though. It seems like other people are, because I think if everyone can do it, everyone will. And there'll be some people that are better at it than others too. Like, I think again, the prompt game will be really valuable. I try to get my other people into it because I think you need to know how to use it. And you need to like, because it's inevitable. We're not getting away from it. As far as AI art, I think the only way I would really be like really impressed is like, instead of like, if I made a comic book and I didn't want to draw out all the pages, but my idea was really good, and then I can make like a script from it, and then I can pitch that script. And there's utility. It's almost like just more utility, right? There's just a lot of utility in there. And so for me, the thing is, like, I really mean this, every artist, instead of Googling a reference photo, you put your own reference photo. I'm going to go back to the skull with a hat and flowers, and then I'm going to paint that or use that as an inspiration or as a reference photo, or like take some of the skull shapes from it. I think I enjoy that so much more than like scrolling through Google like an idiot and like getting like half-baked images that are nothing what I'm really looking for. So an actual AI artist that like I see right now on Instagram and TikTok and stuff, like I said, there's some that make really cool videos, and I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to spend my time doing that. They are. So like how much credit do you want me to give them? I don't know, but I appreciate some of the videos. Some of them are really wild. I shared an AI video like a couple days ago, yesterday. It was so crazy. It was this old lady, like half dog, half old lady growling. Fucking gnarly, man. So crazy. So if he's taking credit for that, for making that, yeah, who cares? Like, everyone, like, there will always be other people that are ahead, and they just get to reap the rewards. My claim is, or I'm gonna like, I don't even think it's my original idea, but I really believe in it, is I think like movies will be all individually like tailored to individuals. So like we'll watch a movie, probably won't go to a movie, but we'll watch a movie, and everything that happens in that movie is based on my preferences. And I don't think that's too far away. And I think real artists need to be involved in order to make that kind of stuff happen. I think there'll be real artists that need to be able to use AI at like an artistic level in order to make like tailored media and stuff. Thanks to Praves. What's up? But Rock Ghost, any thought on my rant on AI? Like, you can hate it as much as you want. It's not going anywhere. I have a close friend. He's a real traditional artist. He does not like it. He's not a fan at all. And I appreciate that. But I really think, because it's not a gimmick in the sense of like, it's going to be here this year and then next year it's gone. No, it's only getting more and more powerful. So how can you use it to your advantage, even if you're a traditional artist? Like, I would say the same thing I said to you guys, to him, like, you can't like use like reference photos with it. Like, can't you finally get what you actually are looking for when you're hunting for a reference photo? Like a woman sitting on a chair holding like holding a cake. Like, if you Googled that, what I just said, a woman sitting on a chair, middle-aged, heavy-set, holding a cake, the chances of you finding what you're actually looking for, or what you think you're looking for on Google, good luck. It'll just be a waste of time. And that's what I used to have to do for years. I would like scour Google, and I would just save images that I like because I would come across something like, oh, I might be able to use this later. Now with AI, I can just go, give me a middle-aged lady sitting on a chair eating a cake. Oh no, make her hair brown. Now I have like, okay, I see my idea. Okay, now let me see how I'm gonna actually like incorporate this into my art. That to me, like, it saved me hours. It saved me hours. Now, like, you can make an argument, like, it puts like people who like right now currently, like probably like people who do like CGI computer graphics and stuff. That's gonna be scary. for sure. Like I see downsides. I'm not silly, but just me personally, now I have a system to get like good source images like immediately, and I can see if my idea is actually worth pursuing. That saves me so much time, and I enjoy that process of coming up with ideas. So when I can see things, and the quicker I can see something, the quicker I can go, okay, this is worth painting. This idea I have is worth painting. But even today I was looking up harmonious Bosch paintings, right? And there's only so many. There's a handful. So then I put in harmonious Bosch paintings into AI, and it gave me more critters just to give me ideas for like, okay, frogs wearing helmets and fish people and stuff. They didn't really make the cut, but it did inspire me. I was like, oh, that's cool. And I'm like, oh, I wonder how I can incorporate that. Now, for me, by the time I get to my painting, I've already moved on and I'm thinking about other things and like, and this painting's not the best example for using AI anyway. This is all just kind of like subconscious. But sometimes I get stuck and I need to see some paintings. Or art. Sometimes even like doom scrolling through Instagram is really helpful. See some incredible art, I'm like, oh, that's so cool. And I just get motivated. Not even to like, oh, that's a good idea, just motivated like, oh, I want to paint something. That happens all the time. Just seeing other people's great art. So that would be back to your writer's block. Too much paint, too wet here. Yeah, just use it for you, and then it's like I think it's human art will always have more worth. I hope so. Yeah, the actual value of AI art versus handcrafted work, you would hope that there's always going to be a value or a desire and a want and need for pure human creativity. But like, here's a weird example, okay? Right now, I'm listening to whatever this music is, but it's a copyright-free thing on Spotify. If there was a way for me just to listen to AI music right now without being flagged on YouTube, I would totally do it because I probably can get way better music than whatever this is. Yeah, so I'm all over the place with it. But imagine I can get like, hey, I want this kind of mood. I want more of some piano, some soft, like, I want the ambiance to be like this. And then AI can just like whip out an endless stream of music forever. Fuck, that would really help me right now. But now I've eliminated the actual people creating the music. However, again, music is so important to my whole life, and the songs that I listen to when I'm not streaming are so like they make this painting come alive. They really, and so when I don't have music, it's a bummer. So I don't know if AI will ever create music that is But I bet you, I don't know, do you think music will ever get like, if I played an AI song that can make you feel emotional? I bet you it can. Hopefully we just don't pay very much for it. Okay, we gotta go. Changing my brush up to see what I can. I felt myself getting stagnant, like just going over small details and not making any progress. So I change up my brush that's a little more rough and a little larger to see if I can find some more imagery over here. This area is this area's been sitting for, I guess, over a day now. So I see a face here. I don't know, again, I don't know how clear this is for you guys, but there's a face here. And let's get him in while I got the... Well, I'm motivated. Yeah, kind of like Elmer Fudd. Keep going though, Rot Ghost, if you see more stuff. I need your help, because this... The little duck thing with the head looks interesting. This guy? I like him too a lot. See, these feet are from Harmonious Bosch. I'm saying his name wrong. But those feet are when I saw the feet in one of the paintings, I'm like, oh, I need to add some feet to some stuff. None of this area has been really worked on for a while. Yeah, probably. Dr. Seuss is... See, that's another great idea for like a good ref, like checking out some Dr. Seuss, especially the machines that are in Dr. Seuss books. I really like that kind of stuff. a lot of this kind of imagery would be very similar to like Dr. Seuss machines, like even like Rube Goldberg machines, you know, like where one thing leads to another, which leads to another. That kind of stuff's also really cool. This painting's not too much, there's not a lot of gadgets happening or like wires, which I've done in the past. I decided to stay away from that a little bit. So it's more like flesh and body parts, and then the kind of the blue is a bit mechanical, all the blue elements. And that's kind of how I've separated them. Get your brush right. What's up, Jackie? I think underrated's better than overrated. No? I'm serious. Maybe I'll go back to playing old movies instead of music. The music really bums me out. You guys just can't hear it really. You have no idea what I'm listening to. You just hear like random like gunfights or like Western sounds or like, you know, like just old movies. I watched some old movies before, it seemed. Because I don't get anything out of this random, like, no copyright music thing. I just keep complaining about it over and over and over again. Right now there's nothing though, so. Yeah, like, again, it's complicated. If I'm not live streaming, I'm listening to like my playlist, like my own music that I like. Or I'm listening to podcasts. I really like Swindled, that podcast lately. I've been listening to a lot of that. And then I listen to my own music or like random playlists that I can't stream while I listen to it though, because I get a flag on my channel. In this case, I'm talking about like watching movies, like old movies. I don't really watch them, but I do listen to them. And I feel like I almost get more out of that than I do like random like sounds from no copyright channels. Sometimes there's like chill, like super like low sound channels that are fine, that just kind of like have a light, but they're not very inspiring. They're just like kind of just noise that's like polite. So I'm just kind of sick and tired of like talking, but it really affects me. It's a bummer. I listen to a lot of music, like everything. Everything and right now I really like the band called Cindy Lee. And I've been back into the Smashing Pumpkins, and I'm back into some of the Pixie bands that some of the members from the Pixie band, I can't remember their name, something Black, but there's some great music I was listening to this week. The singer from the Pixies, he's got a band, it's really great. Like super, super great. And then that latest Cindy Lee album's really great. And then I'll listen to a lot of oldies too. Earlier this week was a lot of Beatles. I haven't listened to the Beatles for like 5 years. I went down a deep dive. But yeah, I love old Western movies, but not like religiously. Look up the band that I'm talking about, the lead singer from the Pixies. He's got a band, Black Catholic or something. Anyone can find that out for me. I forget the name. It's so great. It's like really great. A beautiful, like kind of hidden underground, or not mainstream kind of sound, and really cool. What else am I listening to? It's just like an endless playlist, like. And then there's music. I'm not really good at the genres. I wouldn't be able to tell you what. But I was listening. Like today, I posted something. I used Justice as my sound, which is nice to hear once in a while. Not all the time, but I really like some of that stuff. And there's that band on, I haven't looked them up, there's that band on Instagram that's really popular, those country guys. Red Clave or something, they're awesome. I need to like find them on Spotify. So yeah, I jump around all over the place. I have to. Thank you. Frank Black and the Catholics. Rock Ghost, yes. It's so fucking good. There's a couple songs that are so great. So I'm not vouching for it all. I don't know how many albums he did with them. But there's a few songs that are just unreal. Like fantastic. Yeah, thanks for yes, and the Red Clay Strays. Those guys, I can't believe, like I only discovered them because of Instagram. But whenever I hear them, I'm like, wow. And then I really love that kid who goes down through New York with his like whole rig that's on his. I just posted it on my shorts or my stories. And he just finds like rappers or singers and he just makes the beat on the spot. Even some of that stuff's incredible. Just when you hear good music, you're just like, yes, this is good. This is so great. It just does something to you. And so the older I get, the more appreciation I have for music that's just good. I don't care who does it or like if it has some soul and there's just something there. It's just it means so much to me. And new sounds always are interesting too. And then there's some music that you need to hear a couple times in order to like it. So like a lot of older stuff. I'm sure I've heard before, but then you get to hear it again, like almost like for the first time. But I do listen to a lot of like, I actually even have to, I would have to ask ChatGPT what kind of sounds I'm talking about. Like there's certain genres of music, I'll give it a couple bands and say, what kind of music is this? Because I have no idea how to classify it. Because it's not techno and it's not like trance. It's like, I don't know all the vocabulary for the genres. And I also have like a huge appreciation for music because that's not why I was put on this earth. I'm not musically inclined in the slightest, but I just appreciate it so much. It's part of my day, every day. But I'm also a really big fan of podcasts too, because I like to think. Sometimes like a good story or even commentary that's like well thought out, I get a lot out of it too. Yeah, you know who I'm talking about, right, Jackie? You listen to bluegrass or anything like Grateful? So Grateful Dead, like that. He, the only time that I'm even in that genre is I think it's that Jerry Garcia song. So like I'm just a bystander with the Grateful Dead. Um, right down the line, you know that one? That's a great tune, but I wouldn't even, that's probably not even considered Grateful Dead. But that's a fantastic song. As far as the Grateful Dead and like getting into Fish and all that stuff, it just doesn't move the needle on my end. But I'd listen to it. I don't have. It's like the same as what you just need. You have times where you go through a Pink Floyd phase, or I can't listen to Pink Floyd every day, but there's times when they're the only band that's going to do it for me. So it just depends. So I'm open to. I just never heard anything that really grabbed me from Grateful Dead, but I never listened to an entire album or anything. But that Right Down the Line song's pretty great. It's the best I can do. That's all I can do for you about the Grateful Dead. Thanks, John. Appreciate it. Yeah, some days for sure. And I'm sure you could play a couple of songs from Grateful Dead. I'm like, yeah, this is great. And then I'd listen to them again. I'm like, I'm good. But then I'm like, oh, there's certain songs like Medication. If you have a headache, you need this. If you're feeling down, you need this. If you're feeling excited, you need this. And actually, you can even just do genres or bands. Well, like, there's just like, and there's inspiring artists too that are really. But back to you, Jackie. What's the most surprising artist? That's Cindy Lee. Like you said, I just discovered them too. The Cindy Lee stuff was a really cool sound. That's like when Arcade Fire first came out. They had like a really different sound and like this big band and like so many like great songs. That's kind of how I feel about Cindy Lee right now. They're like kind of the new Arcade Fire. So I'm into them. Because I've heard a few songs I'm like, oh, it's okay. But then I've heard a bunch that are really great. So I need to like, I'm interested in still going deeper into that and see who comes. Like one cool thing is like once you find one band, you can start finding some other bands that are in the same world. I really like when you get suggestions and stuff. on Spotify, it helps a lot. Sometimes it's brutal, but sometimes it's like, oh, I've never heard this. This great. Oh, there's a song that. Let me think. Let me think. There was something that just came up recently. I really like them too. Oh, I was listening last week was doo-wop, like all the old doo-wop songs. There's so many, and some of those are real, like, touching, emotional, and amazing, and like a different time too. Like you kind of like I always I'm making this up, but like they kind of got one chance to change their life, like in this recording studio. Like that scene from Walk the Line, Johnny Cash, when he's in the recording studio, and he's like singing the gospel songs to the producer, and he's like, "You're telling me you got like if you're like on your deathbed and you're gonna sing one song, you're gonna sing that song? I don't believe you." And then he pulls out I think what so he pulled out Folsom Prison, I think. Anyways, I really like that era of music where they kind of get one shot in the recording studio. And at that time, it was like all these doo-wop songs. And some of them are so amazing. But again, I kind of got over that phase. I thought it would last a lot longer. But it'll come back again. It comes in phases or waves. Do you follow that saying, separate the art from the artist? I do, because I don't want to deprive myself of anything great. Can you say that again? Do you follow that saying, separate the art from artists? I do, because I don't want to deprive myself of anything great. I'm not picking up what you're putting down. The best I could come up with is that you're saying, if you separate yourself from the art, you're able to, there's a chance that you could be great. I know, you gotta tell me again. You love Arcade Fire. I love this idea that songs are medication. Yes. And so if you think about it, like, yeah, every day I don't have a headache, but I need like this. Like, yeah, need different prescriptions. And there's always go-tos though, for sure. There's always go-tos. If you don't even know what you need. Like if there's a problematic artist, but I really like some of their stuff, but I really don't like them as a person, I'm not going to deprive myself of their work just because they're a bad person. Yeah, I kind of changed my mind. The older I get is like, it really depends on the, like there's different eras, right? Like there's certain work that we're totally detached from because it was just so long ago. And it doesn't really play a role, even if they were pretty demonic or like dark. And then there's like the modern era where I hope we really kind of come to terms with like everyone's really flawed and everyone has their skeletons, and we'll argue about, oh well, their skeletons are way worse, and which might even be true. But I hope we get like, if you. Yeah, it's weird. I don't, like if you throw on Michael Jackson, despite what you think about him, whether he's a god or like or whatever else. Like if you put on Thriller or like certain songs, you're just like, this is so good. It doesn't matter what he did or didn't do, for that matter, or the stories that like. I think you can't even like. You'd have to make a conscious effort, like, oh, turn it off. I don't like it. But after hearing like Billie Jean come on, it's undeniably great. So yeah, I think I can separate it. Like if Bill Cosby had a funny joke, and it was like really funny and you laughed, is that you separating? I'm not even sure if he has funny jokes, but I'm just saying, like, he's the worst of the worst in our kind of like the last, as far as like pop culture, right? I'm not talking about like bigger things, but like in our pop culture world, he was regarded as a pretty bad dude, but he has a lot of he's an old, like, I'm older, so he was around, he was a big influence on a lot of different things. Nothing was really standout, but he was an icon. So I'm trying to think of somebody who like was pretty brutal, but that we still like today. There's a few, like there's athletes that have had some like pretty heavy pasts that we look past. So yeah, I think art is different. I don't know. I don't think I could find somebody that I dismiss their work based on their behavior. I think they're almost like two different conversations. That's how I would describe it. Two different conversations. I think like there was that one like serial killer that made art in prison. I'd be fascinated to see it. I don't know if I'd buy it. I might. But like the destruction that he would have caused on this planet and the lives he ruined, it just depends on the conversation, right? Like if you're talking to somebody that was really affected by that person, then it's probably not a good idea to bring up the art. Talk about something else. Speaking of music, that Charles Manson song is a banger. Do you know what I'm talking about? Charles Manson has that one song. It's so good. It's on my playlist. Yeah, sure, there's a difference between supporting it, right? Yeah, but if you, like, what happens if, like, are you supporting if it's in a gallery and you go into the gallery? Because support, not just monetarily, but you're like, yeah, I'm going to the show. I think that's important, actually, now they say it out loud. I would never not go to a show. Again, there's just lines. There's a bunch of lines, right? What's that Charles Manson song? Rock Ghost? Wow, Rock Ghost, you're young. Yeah? You're way younger than me. Charles Manson's that psycho killer, and that's where Marilyn Manson got his name from. I can't get into all the details. But even forget a gallery, like think about museums. I'm sure museums have pieces that are just like there's some certain barbaric backstories that we're kind of just detached from because they were either, you know, like 50 years ago, you're like, who cares, right? Like it's 50 years ago. It's the stuff that's newer that I think most people have a hard time with. That would be my understanding. Things are more touchy with stuff that's newer, because even like look at Rot Ghost now. Not knowing Charles Manson, he was even that movie Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the Quentin Tarantino movies based on that, some pieces of the Charles Manson story. Yeah, because if you're even talking about writing now, that's a whole other thing too. Like there's, you know, people writing, taking advantage of, like didn't OJ, like he was like known for that. He did a bunch of stuff where he capitalized on the carnage that he created. Again, as I say it out loud, I really think as a society we seem to give things a pass when they're a little older, and it's a little bit further in the past. We seem to like, there's probably not an exact date or anything, but when things have been removed from the zeitgeist for a certain amount of time, we seem to give them a pass. When you take somebody that we all despise, that's where you're probably going to find the most controversy. But it's good for your critic, like you're like, because you sometimes you go, hey, this is really good, and it's coming from a really weird place, and that's very interesting for art. Like the person who made this has a crazy story, and they made it, like they affected a lot of people, they harmed a lot of people, and now I'm looking at a piece of their art or reading their art, or yeah, it's crazy. It's way easier to digest when it was 60 years ago though, right? You're kind of more just intrigued at that point. That's why people like go on tours, like they'll go on like murder tours in big cities and stuff. Like they want to see where so-and-so killed so-and-so, and at that point it just becomes more of like trivia versus like really impactful. We're just detached. But I think it leads to a bigger question. This is what I would say is like, that's when you can really think like, okay, maybe art isn't that subjective. Because if it's just really good art, it's undeniable. No matter who did it, or why, or when, or who. And that, I'm not saying like their entire body of work, but sometimes you see a piece of art, you don't know, you don't need to know who did it, or why, or when, but it's just fantastic. And usually it has a large consensus around it, like, yes, it's agreed upon that this is a fantastic piece of art. Sometimes we're told what is really good, so it can get a little misleading. But I do think sometimes art is more than subjective. I think there's something in real beauty and real talent and real skill. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be your favorite piece, but yet as a critic you're like, yeah, this is unbelievable. This is so good. Well, no, you've helped me out already, Rot Ghost, with my missing pieces with some of the bands too earlier. And you'll know a bunch of stuff on, like, you know those, you have the ability to even know what I'm talking about when it comes to like social media and stuff. And no, Charles Manson, yeah, that's where Marilyn Manson got his name. Marilyn Monroe and Charles Manson. And Charles Manson had it before he was part of that massive murder conspiracy. He played in a band. He really wanted to get his. There's actually a really interesting story there, but I'm too ignorant to repeat it.
But he has one song that's really great. You should listen to it. It's gonna kill me. Yeah, if I did it, the OJ story. Yeah, like that. Again, it's so savage because it's so like relative at that time. Now it's a little less fresh, but like when he came out with that stuff, it was so crazy. It's like, and I think everyone kind of thought that was really super. There's a word for it. Amara, what's up? I know what I was trying to say earlier, Rot Ghost. I need your youthful outlook for sure. Because as I get older, I don't want to lose touch, man. I don't want to lose touch of that. What's coming up is just as important as what happened, if that makes sense. What's popping now is just as important as what was popping back then. Sounds good. Yeah, makes sense. Jackie, what are you listening to, by the way? What new music are you? We seem like we have similar tastes. But yeah, actually, and I'm sincere about that, Rock Ghost. Like, it's important for me to like stay in touch. It's kind of even why I do these streams a little bit. See what people are thinking and what they're interested in. Plus, I'm a pretty introverted person. It seems like one of the only ways that kind of gets me to kind of talk about random stuff. Need some faces around here. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, the Strokes, Flaming Lips, yeah. Oh yeah, how do you say his name? Dijo? There's a song that he's got, right? Or they got. I don't know. I think I even have it on my playlist, yeah. This duo called Party of Two. Okay. What do they sound like? Joe, but with A and D and C. Joe. Got it. Party of Two. If I wasn't streaming, I'd be listening to this song right now. Another band you'll like, Jackie, is if you don't listen to them already, Dinosaur Jr. That's also, I wouldn't call it classic rock ghost, but it's like the kind of like the alternative era when Nirvana was really happening, but just a lot less popular, but really good music. It's a band called Dinosaur Jr. I feel like they're kind of making almost like a bit of a resurgence lately. But the Kiss era, I grew up with like, before Kiss, like, one thing you can't go wrong with is Elvis. Do a deep dive on Elvis. Elvis has so many really good songs. He's more of the originator of the rock era, like before classic rock, but still worth investigating, because that just needs to be in your portfolio. You need to know your Elvis, because he shaped so many things. And a lot of people say he got a lot of this, like the Motown era, like all the Motown rock and stuff, the blues that way. But Elvis is key for your portfolio, your music portfolio. Yeah, okay, so you got your Elvis down. I'm gonna get flagged for these songs, but I'm just playing you what's on my playlist, what I was listening to. Yeah, this is, I was going through a doo-wop phase last week, collecting a bunch of songs. I collect them like cards. Like my Spotify playlist, I just collect songs. But I'm gonna leave you guys after this song because it's gonna flag my thing. Yeah, the Ronettes, the Coasters, all of them. Yeah, they never fail. This whole era and this whole come up. Yeah, I grew up with the Eagles, grew up with the Beatles. And Stevie Nicks has a bunch of stuff she did that's really cool. So if you like Fleetwood Mac would be probably the best recommendation I can give you based on your taste and stuff. I would do a deep dive into Fleetwood Mac. I'll leave you with that, Rot Ghost, okay? Yeah, Talking Heads are fantastic. Okay, so yeah, you're good. See you, Jackie. Thanks, Pumpkin. Rot Ghost, I'm out of here. Thanks, everybody. I gotta go. I'm playing music and they're gonna flag me. Alright, toodles. Until next time.